drugs, illegal drugs. Do we know what the sentence is now for conviction for that? Already in the Controlled Drugs and Substances Act, the sentence, Madam Speaker, is life in prison. That's the current sentence envelope, life in prison. And do you know what the big, tough move that's proposed by the government in this bill is? The big, tough on crime move is to say that there will be a minimum sentence of 1 year. Of 1 year. This is the big, tough move. We've taken a sentence of life in prison available to a judge and added in a 1 year minimum. This is really going to have an impact on the street, Madam Speaker. All those would-be drug pushers out there are going to be shaking in their boots. The fact is, they don't care. They don't care about our laws. They wouldn't be breaking them in the first place if they did. What does Section 2 of the bill do? What's the existing sentence for a crime under Section 2? Well, there it is. Life in prison. We already have a life in prison sentence for Section 2. What has the government added in? They want to add a minimum 1 year. I think I've made my point on that. I could go further, but I want to direct members' attention to Section 8 of the bill. Section 8. It is a new section, and it is this: if a person is charged and convicted of any of these crimes for which life in prison is a potential sentence, up to life in prison, can't go beyond that. We don't hang people anymore. If a person is convicted, then essentially Section 8 requires the Attorney General to ask permission. And it says the court is not required to impose a minimum punishment. This provision is being proposed by the government that is pretending to be really, really tough. In a vacuum, the court is not required to impose a minimum punishment unless it is satisfied that the offender, before entering a plea, was notified of the possible imposition of a minimum punishment for the offense in question, and of the Attorney General's intention to prove any factors in relation to the offense that would lead to the imposition of the 1 year minimum sentence. So how many prosecutors out there are, when there's a life sentence available, the whole spectrum of imprisonment available for a conviction, how many of them are going to take the time to give the notice, the required notice, and generate all of this evidence necessary to address the factors in sentencing that would be necessary to impose the minimum sentence? Very few. There might be a case, and I would agree that in the context of enforcement and prosecution, where there was a particular offender with a record, a long record, an offender clearly operating within the infrastructure of organized crime, that such a notice would or could or should be given. The reason why this provision is there, Madam Speaker, is that there are, for better or for worse, Charter of Rights and Freedoms constraints on how we apply the criminal law and how we follow through on our due process. And that's why, and I'm happy the provision is there, and I'm really not mocking it, but what I am suggesting is that in the face of this staged drama of this government, staged drama, that somehow there's this great war against crime, and they are leading it with stupid sentencing, that somehow no one else in the House cares about it, and no one else has a plan. And Section 8 if they were on, I'd love to hear a government member get up and talk about the importance of Section 8 of the bill. It's an important section dealing with the application of this, of the sentencing provisions. But I can tell you again, and I'll close my remarks shortly, Madam Speaker, but I just want to say again that I don't think there's a criminal in this country or in the universe that is going to take 1 second of their busy criminal life to sit down and read and study Section 8 or Section 1 or Section 2 or any part of the criminal code. They don't get around to reading anything until the day they call their lawyer after they've been busted. That's when they begin to do the sentence math or allow the lawyer to do it for them. So I want my remarks here. I want to be clear. I stand with everybody else in this House, on both sides of the House, who want to be effective and smart in dealing with, in helping our communities deal with the crime challenges, realizing that they do the enforcement, they do the prosecution, and we don't. And this big, bold government here, which knows full well that they don't spend a nickel in enforcement, on policing. It's the provinces and municipalities. They know it's a great drama, a staged political drama. I'll stop there, Madam Speaker. Thank you.